Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, January 6, 2025. Happy New Year. We're calling the Downtown Estacada Commission meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. Okay, first order of business. We've called it to order. Do we have any public comments? Okay. Has everybody had an opportunity to review and adopt the December 2024 minutes? And if so, can I have a motion and a second?
I'll make a
motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Awesome.
Aye,
Who opposes?
not me. I meant to say aye.
Oh,
All in favor?
Hi, Corbin.
Good morning.
morning. Okay, do we have Julie Colton here yet?
No.
Okay, so we'll come back to the Christmas tree lighting recap. Okay. Oregon Main Street revitalization.
Did you want to go over
Revitally-
content for January news media and stuff?
Oh,
Number 4.
yeah, sorry, Hannah. I skipped right over you.
No biggie. There isn't much. Unless anybody has any other ideas, I might do just a reminder of what we're offering in 2025, our normal upcoming events, 4th of July, Oktoberfest, and then the tree lighting again, because we know when those dates are, which is cool.
Right.
Other than that, not much until we start kind of ramping up for Uncorked and what's going on with that. And so yes.
Is it too early to put a bug out there about what our theme for the 4th of July parade is going to be and the city celebration of what the 120th? Is that it, Jerry? Is it too early just to maybe put a little thread in there about that in case people have?
I don't think so. I think just getting secure dates is a good thing. Do we have a secure date for the Founders Day? If we need to come back to this, we can. I don't know if we want to get into details, but I know Uncorked is planned for May 31st. Is that correct?
Yep.
Parks and Rec is doing the Founders Day, so that you'd want to get in touch with Vincent Bellomo.
Okay. All right. Well, so Parks and Rec is totally taking that over.
That's what I understood, was Parks and Rec was doing that.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So maybe we can get together with them or go to one of their meetings. Yeah, I'd be happy to start posting about that stuff. I just need to get dates so I can get some stuff from Vincent.
Heather, I see that you have joined. Thank you. Uncorked is still scheduled for May 31st. Are you working with Parks and Rec to do Founders Day and Uncorked the same weekend, or do you have any update on that?
I have not talked to anybody from Parks and Rec.
Okay,
So I'm happy to reach out to them though.
awesome.
Yep.
Well, why don't you reach out to them and then get with Hannah and give Hannah those dates?
Okay. Sounds
Awesome.
great.
Thank you.
Because I'd be happy to start posting about Uncorked as well, because we know that date is secured, I think.
Yep.
And yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's move on to the Oregon Main Street Revitalization Grant proposal guidelines. Did everybody have an opportunity to review this? And if so, do we have any questions?
A question about the eligibility on the list that says work may not be attached to a building except ADA accessories. Does that mean an existing building, or can you build an existing building with, a new building with this grant money?
You can build a new building with the grant money. You just can't completely demolish a building and then rebuild it.
Okay.
It doesn't cover demolition.
And I apologize, I didn't read all of it, but can we have more than one? Is it a dollar figure or?
You can pick more than one proposal and split the amount between each one as long as their scope of work is similar. So if they're trying to do kind of two completely different things, like one's just like redoing their storefront or their awnings and another's wanting to do housing on the second floor, you couldn't group those together. But if both were revitalizing their storefront or their awnings, or they were doing housing, you could group those together.
Okay.
And
okay.
the proposals you got there, you can group some of them together.
So are we gonna pick one of these, or could all of these potentially get approved?
You wouldn't be able to do all of them because their scope of work, some of them are different. But you could pick more than one. And let me pull up the proposals for those online. And we can go through them real quick.
Like there's three of them?
I was just gonna ask, I see two, but maybe I'm not reading it right.
There should be 4.
Or, okay.
I have,
One's just a one pager,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
The letter from,
So the first one, can everyone online see that?
First one I see is Cornelio.
Yes.
Correct.
And this is for 255 and 267 Southwest Cedar Road. He's wanting to redo the business storefront on the bottom and do housing on top. He's asking for the full 400,000. And he is able to financially match the amount.
At 30%,
Yes,
up to 30%.
up to 30%.
Okay.
The next one is from Robert and Enoch Stalcup. It's for 356 South Broadway. They are wanting to, let's see, redo the foundation and build a second story. They want to maintain a similar storefront appearance to what is there right now. And then build a second story, I believe, for housing. Yes, apartments.
Mhm.
Yeah, upgrading the existing front portion of the building and building apartments. They are asking for the full amount as well.
I have just a real quick question on this. Maybe you don't know. Do we have any ADA approved apartments downtown?
I have no idea.
The,
Trying to,
Not just these over here next to
Yeah.
us.
are those one level? I mean, do they have elevators to get up to the,
I don't believe they don't have elevators.
okay.
You made a statement, or maybe I misunderstood you, that you cannot tear down a building and rebuild it.
Yes, so the demolition that he's doing would not be covered by the grant.
Because he's
But-
tearing it down to the foundation, so that building will be gone and he's gonna redo it, so the reconstruction would be covered. Because when if you tear a building down to the foundation, it's,
Yeah, they're gonna cover the demo. and then
Yes.
The grant would partially cover the building of the new.
Yes. It just will not cover any demolition.
Yeah, and it looks like the reason that he's demoing it down so that he can support
A second
the
floor.
second story. Which, you'd have to do if that's what you wanted to.
Mhm. And he is planning or might be planning to apply for the URA grant in conjunction with this one to do the match. And I'm assuming that money will probably cover the demolition of it, since they estimate their project being 500 to 600,000, and this grant is only for 400.
is there anything in here that gives the square footage of these projects? So we can see, if we're giving 400 to something that's 500 square foot compared to 10,000 square foot, what the benefit might come from that?
I don't think so. He did include the map.
Yeah, the plot
But
map.
Yeah, I don't think there's
which looks
the
like
square
it's
footage.
25 feet, but I don't.
That's how much it would be expanded, but it wouldn't, it doesn't say the entire building. I'll
You'll have
just
to-
repeat what you say, so it's on record. Okay, so the buildings on Broadway, the long ones are 2,500 square feet from curb to the back, and then the bigger ones are 5,000 square feet. Okay, okay. All of them but the Mason building. Okay, and then the next proposal.
Can I say
here's
something
the,
real fast?
yeah,
So for this, we obviously all know that we don't approve the finalized choice of this.
correct. You're
We're,
just,
we're pushing forward to go to the state and then the state chooses.
yes,
They have a long list of like checklists that they will need and want.
yes, you all are just reviewing the proposals for which ones will go through to the application
Yeah,
to the state.
to have an attempt at getting it. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah, cool.
Okay, the next one is 342 South Broadway, Kyle Helm. They are wanting to redo the storefront and inside and also build housing. So the front half of the building right now is an office retail storefront, and the back half is residential. Here's an image. So complete renovation of the Broadway facing facade, and then interior renovation, repair and replace siding, structural and foundation improvements. This is just a preliminary concept. They're willing to co-invest, and are planning to apply for the URA grant as well. Any questions on this one?
But they're only asking for 150,000.
Yes.
Okay.
This one doesn't have apartments. They're
Does
not,
what?
this one is not, they're not doing apartments.
But it still is a live work.
Yes,
They
they
there's
have,
still the live part in the back.
yes.
So are we gonna discuss each one?
Yeah,
we've
we
got
have
one-
one more to go
Yeah.
through. Oh. Okay. The next one is 381 South Broadway Street, Paris. She is wanting to, yeah, since she's here, let's.
Hi. Hi, this is Paris. We own 381 South Broadway, which currently occupies Estacada Athletic Arts, the Jiu-Jitsu and group fitness gym. We have 5,000 additional square feet upstairs for potential use. We don't know what to do with it, to be totally honest. And so the way that we wrote our grant is much different than the way that some of the other grants are written, or the request for selection for grant. It could be event space, it could be apartments, it could be whatever. We are totally open to ideas and suggestions. We put in the paperwork that we would like the full $400,000 because 5,000 square feet upstairs in an old building like is gonna go real fast. We did the URA grant this last year and we were amazed at how quick it went. It was here and it was gone in 30 days. But there is a lot of potential and there's such a finite amount of space in downtown Estacada holistically, right? Like we have a very small downtown area and we have 5,000 square feet of wasted space. It is currently attic-y kind of, but
Makes sense.
that's a huge potential, right? Like it's a big amount of space to be used for whatever the group thinks is a good idea. Part of me feels like housing is cool, but there's also like lots of apartments and more coming in downtown Estacada. And so maybe it would be the opportunity to add 5,000 square feet of business space. I don't know, but I'm open to it. I
And
know
then-
that's not like a great proposal, but
And you indicate on here that there's some historical World War I writings on the wall. How, and you would do,
yeah, so I mean, when I read over the grant requirements, if you weren't going to go the route of housing, it would be to preserve and restore history. And that's why I included one of the original I think that picture is from like late 1920s, 1930s. So you can see like across the top of the second story, there's windows. Those have all been covered with like cement, like I'm guessing it's like shotcrete or something, but like they still have the ability to like pop the windows back in on the second story. And very much like the Mason building across the street, they're very similar buildings. And so it has, the potential, like I think back in the day it was like dance hall or something. And so I thought it would be advantageous for this particular grant to bring back some of those original structures by adding like the bay windows. They look out over all of downtown Estacada. And then, yeah, there's like a big, I should have included a picture. I don't know why I didn't, but there's like a big, like the World War writing on the wall that I thought would be really cool to preserve.
so if this is open 5,000 square feet,
It's
um,
two, so our building used to be two buildings, so it was 2,500 and 2,500 downstairs. And downstairs, the wall between the two have been removed and now it's one. Upstairs, it is one building and two buildings. So there is still a dividing wall that goes all the way down the center. So it has the potential to be two separate businesses upstairs. I mean, even more potentially. I mean, you could chop it even smaller than that, but right now the way that it's structured would be two businesses, 2,500, 2,500. You could hypothetically put 4 or 6 apartments up there if you guys felt like housing was the way that Estacada wanted to go. If you guys feel like more commercial space is the way that we want to go, then 2,500 square foot suites.
and those strictly would be stairs. There's no ADA.
There is no ADA in that building. I mean, I have no idea what it would cost to make
Right.
it ADA, but I have a feeling it would probably blow this
Absolutely.
budget out of the water.
Absolutely, yeah.
Would this proposal have a separate entranceway or would it have to go through your building, your business to get up to
So
the?
you can currently access the stairwell from the back of the building. So you can there's that parking lot where the food carts are. You can park there and go through the door. So there's 3 entrances to the building currently. There's the entrance on Broadway. It's got like a double door. In the back, there's a hallway glass door that goes into our business. And then there's another door, which we have battened down and locked up currently. But if you opened that, which you would have to put in a nice entrance that goes straight to the staircase that goes upstairs.
So they could have access from Broadway up to the upstairs area?
They would have
Potentially.
access from the back of the building
from the
where
back.
it's at currently.
From the
You
alleyway?
could also make it from the front.
Hmm.
I'm not an architect. I don't know. I'd have to figure that out, but.
But that would impede on the businesses down below. You'd have to have,
Well, I'm the business down below.
wouldn't you? I mean, if you had one main entrance, wouldn't you have to have the same business timeframes open? If
Well, you would have two separate entrances. You would
Okay.
enter. You mean if we were to put the staircase in the front,
Right.
then we would have to make some sort of lobby,
Okay.
you would walk in the doors, there would be like a little
Yeah.
false lobby, and then there would be a staircase in the front.
Okay.
That's how we'd have to do that.
Okay.
Anyways, if you have questions, let me know.
Thanks.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, that's all the proposals. So in your packet, there is a grading rubric. I'm thinking we would just go through and grade every single one. Just one person, if you can write it down for each project, then you can just grade together instead of everyone grading separately and then trying to combine
Sure.
answers. So we'll go back to the first one.
I like this one because it sort of needs it the most, it seems, as far as the property. That's my opinion.
I guess we don't have enough information.
Yeah.
I thought his application was very, it didn't tell me anything. We've all been by that building. We can see where it does need some work. But I feel like if you're gonna put in for something like this, you want to have everything.
Mhm.
You want to have plans, you want to have descriptions. I'm sorry, but I can't go with this one.
Yeah, don't
Okay, well, we still
apologize.
have to go off the rubric. So if someone could write down the property address on your grading sheet.
Who wants to, I can take
got it.
this.
I got it.
Gonna be
You
an
got it?
easy one.
Okay, so this is 255 and 267 Southwest Cedar.
Do you have more of the?
Are we
appreci-
choosing these today?
Everyone should have, yes, you are choosing.
We're each
these.
gonna do
Okay,
one.
each of us are gonna do one.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
And then Julie Cooper, did you want to say something?
Yes, so there's not a little plot map. I'm trying to figure out in my brain where this property is at. Is that where the Mexican restaurant is at?
Yes.
Yes, I believe it's.
Right off
Sepul-
the second.
You.
Okay.
Sabo Latino?
Yes, thank you. And I can also pull it up on maps real quick.
Oh, no, that's okay. I know exactly. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, so first criteria is property is in the downtown zone. And this property is,
So that automatically gets a 5?
yes.
Okay.
The next required one is proposer owns, controls the property or has the capacity to. And Cornelio
He says
is
he's
the
the owner.
owner.
So that's a 5.
Yes. Proposer is willing to co-invest in the property up to 30% of the project costs. He is, so that would be a 5. Project will accommodate a new or expanding business. All that it says is a business storefront on bottom and housing on top.
That's
So-
expanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's expanding.
Project will create or retain jobs.
We don't know.
We don't know.
So 0?
Property increases property value for the properties on the block. I think if you're putting in $400,000, it would.
Yes.
Project rehabilitates properties filling currently vacant or underutilized buildings.
Well, it
And
definitely is gonna rehabilitate the property.
yes. Project contributes to historic preservation or enhances the
Mhm.
downtown historic aesthetic. Yeah, I don't think there's enough information,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Project will create or improve downtown housing or lodging. They
He's
are
gonna-
wanting to put housing on top.
Right.
Project has high aesthetic or visual impact. It will make you say, wow, we don't have enough information, so. Project encourages pedestrian traffic. I'd also say we don't have enough information. Project activates or utilizes upper floor spaces.
He states you want to put housing on top, so that is
Yes.
utilization. Okay, so that's 40 out of the 60. For number 1. Who's gonna-
40 out of 60. Okay, next one
Who's gonna do number 2?
I can take number 2.
Okay.
is 356 South Broadway.
Okay. Small cup.
We ready?
Yep.
Okay, property is in the downtown zone. It is. Proposer owns, controls the property or has the capacity to. I believe Robert is the owner.
I think so.
Yes.
Does, yeah. We're willing to secure 30%. So yes, for
Yep, they are willing and able.
new or expanding, yes. That's another one we don't retain jobs, we just don't know.
What's in that building now?
It,
Isn't that his construction in that?
I think it
No.
is Heritage Properties,
No.
but I think
Yeah,
they've moved out.
oh, they did.
That- Yeah. It's the wine bar and Whitney Signs.
Okay,
Project will create or retain jobs. Yes, no?
I can't imagine that we would be able to stay open. Either one of those while they
How
were
did we
doing
grade the first
construction.
one on that?
Yeah, well, we said no on the first one. I don't think there's anything here that states that it's going to create or retain
Yeah.
jobs. So
no.
I think we have to do 0 on that.
Okay. Project increases property value, I would think,
Definite.
yes. Rehabilitates properties filling currently vacant or underutilized buildings.
For sure.
Okay. Historic preservation, yes. Improve downtown housing or lodging, yes. High aesthetic or visual impact, I believe so.
I believe so too.
Encourages pedestrian traffic, well, yeah. Upper floor, well, yeah, upper floor spaces, yes. Yeah.
Yep.
5, 10, 15, 60. I got-
55.
What'd you have that?
Should be 55 out of 60 because
Okay.
we had 0 on number, the retained job.
Yeah, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 55, right?
Then the next
Okay.
one,
What was the first one?
40. John, can you take number 3?
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome, thank you.
it is 342 South Broadway.
Properties in the downtown zone.
It is.
Mhm. Proposal owns and controls the property or has capacity to,
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
Proposers willing to co-invest in the property up to 30%, yes.
Yes.
Project will accommodate a new or expanding business, yes. Project will create or retain jobs, we really don't.
Well, it does state down here under applicant background, it says, we love Estacada's growth trajectory, friendly business environment, access to the outdoors, community members, and so much more. We're fortunate to live. I don't know.
Which one are you questioning, the
The
accommodate
retain-
or retain
the create,
jobs?
retain jobs. I'm just like reading there.
I don't think
Well,
any
I-
of these people really put
Answer
out
that
there.
question. Yeah.
well, but they're gonna, well, I don't know. It's gonna be the same business in there, isn't it?
It's the same thing as
Well,
Cornelius.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
The drawing, it says perfect pets on the awning. So it does, I don't know that it's gonna be the same business back in
Okay.
the.
Underneath the grant criteria, applicability and funding, they do say this project would allow S&S tax and bookkeeping and or another local business to attract new customers
we
and grow
go.
their business.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a
So
five.
that's a 5.
Yep.
Good job.
Project
It's a long
increase.
proposal, so.
Project increases property value for the properties on the block, yeah.
Yes.
Project rehabilitates properties, filling current vacant and underutilized buildings.
Yes,
Mhm. Project contributes to the historic preservation or enhances downtown historic aesthetic, yes.
yes,
Project will create or improve downtown housing and lodging. He's putting apartments on top, right?
Yeah.
Project has high aesthetic or visual impact. It'll make you say, wow,
Yes. And that needs it.
compared to how it is, yeah. Go there. Project encourage pedestrian traffic.
Yep.
Project activates or utilize upper floor spaces. He's gonna do the whole apartment.
This one's not doing an upper.
Yeah, not an upper, but the back is going to be totally renovated.
Oh,
So how does that, because it doesn't have an upper, but it is, remodeling, is that still considered activate?
I would say so since they don't have an upper floor. But it's still not creating an upper floor.
yeah,
So I would
0.
probably give that one a 0.
Zero. Okay, so 55 again then.
Okay, last one. It's 381 South Broadway.
Can you take that one, Julie?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, the properties in the downtown area zone, yes.
Yep.
Proposers willing to co-invest in the property up to 30% of project costs.
Yep.
Yes. Project will accommodate a new or expanding business,
Potentially.
so.
Owned by our family.
Do we want to put a 5 on there? Because it could potentially be 2 spaces.
Exactly.
Well, it's going to have something
Okay.
up there. You
All right.
know, whether it's apartments or, you know, whatever they decide to do, it's going to, you know,
Yes. Project will create or retain jobs.
Well, if you look at it from a business space, it would create 2 new businesses and potentially create more jobs, even though it's not listed in here. But if they turn it into housing, then there are no jobs that are really created. So, I mean, 50-50.
Mm-hmm. So what do you all feel?
I don't think
I-
we can assume.
Yeah, well, I guess my preference would be for that space to be business
Business.
rather than housing.
Mm-hmm.
That way it would create those jobs.
I agree.
Okay,
So
Shouldn't she have to put it in the proposal?
When we actually
I mean,
apply, if
leaving
you
it-
choose to go with this one, yes, that would be in the application. But in her
I mean,
proposal,
I feel like it needs to be definitive one way or the other, in order to score the points for it. Like, is it yes, she's gonna do jobs, or is it yes, she's gonna do housing? Because then if she could go either way on some of the other ones, when we go now to one of the next questions, it's gonna ask if she's providing housing. So then it would be like, oh, well, we could give her a 5 for that, but we already gave her 5 for creating business.
I see what you're saying.
I don't feel.
well,
it's
but is
clear.
there a difference though, because she is here and she has indicated that the way she wrote her proposal, that she's willing.
The reason that I left it kind of ambiguous is because ultimately, like, we didn't have a super definitive plan for it. And I thought, what does everybody else in Estacada want, right? Like, we have a very small space to share, all of us. So like, what makes the most sense? If it's up to my husband and I, we pick commercial. It's much easier for us to do commercial than it is for us to be landlords. But if that's the way to get the money and get the space used, then landlords we shall be. So that's the reason that I left it really ambiguous. In the email that we got encouraging us to apply for this, it was a very short email and it didn't have like a ton of information. And so I felt like it was probably okay to be a little bit ambiguous, but that's where I stand with it. So if you guys want to grade me on commercial, then I'll take -5 points on the housing plus 5 points on the jobs.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
What does everybody else feel?
think
I mean,
it's
do we have the ability to make her put it in the proposal? Like, can we say, look, we're gonna give you these 5 points, but it has to go commercial?
She's on record with that,
Okay,
so I would include
perfect.
that as her proposal.
Perfect.
Okay, so project will create and retain jobs, 5.
Correct.
Project increases property value for the properties on the block, definitely. Project rehabilitates properties filling currently vacant or underutilized space, yes. Project contributes to historic preservation or enhances the downtown historic aesthetic. Yep. Project will create improved downtown housing or lodging. We just said no to that. Project has high aesthetic or visual impact. It will make you say, wow. I think if it was redone, yes.
Well, and plus also too, if you market it some way with that World War I
Yeah.
memorabilia in there, I mean, that's even more of a wow factor.
Encourages
Did
pedestrian
she-
traffic. Oh,
Are
sorry,
there,
Megan.
are there drawings up on there? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be nitpicky, but I'm just thinking about Sabros. They didn't provide images, so we gave him no points for whether or not it would be aesthetically pleasing.
But as Evelyn said, she's here and on record.
Yes.
So we can kind of hold her feet to the fire, so to speak.
Proposal, it does say it would be fantastic to restore the second story windows to the storefront side of the building, improving the overall aesthetic and returning it to its original historical state. So it does mention, yeah, the aesthetic
Mhm.
value.
Project encourages pedestrian traffic. Yep. Project activates or utilizes upper floor space, most definitely. So
So 55 again.
55 again. Okay.
Okay, now that you've graded them all, you can discuss if you want to join any together that have similar scope of works, or you can pick one. If you do decide to pick more than one, just keep in mind that the applicants will really need to provide a lot of information to the city so that we can ensure when we submit the application, we have full background for why both should be given the money. If it's one project, Sherry Stewart says that's easier to do, but we can totally do multiple projects and still have the information to show why both of them are needed.
I
or
would
more than
propose putting the 381 and the Robert Stalock, the 356 together. I think, don't both of these give upstairs apartments or upstairs use of space?
342 does not have upstairs, but it does have housing.
I didn't say, I was thinking,
Number
What-
356 and
381.
381, yeah.
So I have a question. If we submit 2 and they're both approved, they split the money
55
or
out of 60.
they get up to that amount?
Yeah, so if the city is awarded the money, it can be split evenly, or it could be one project gets more and then the other gets less.
But the maximum of 400,000, that's the maximum that we're gonna.
Correct.
And on these, and both of those ones are also applying for the other grant as well?
For the URA, I
Yes.
believe so. Well,
Paris, would you be applying for the URA grant again?
Paris can't apply till the next fiscal year.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I have not received any applications for URA grants, so whether they intend to or not, I have not received them.
Okay.
I think Robert said that they may apply in his application.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I just need to comment on 342. You know, they've been around forever. and they're one of the properties that have had nothing done over the years, whether facade improvement, signage, lights, nothing. They've been tremendous downtown tenants. They cooperate with every event we have downtown. It's one of the buildings that I think really needs to have some improvement. That's my own comment. They got the same scores as other people, but I'd really like to see some money go into that.
I absolutely agree with you on that, Connie.
I agree too on that one.
I think that would improve the whole block.
Yes.
Agreed.
And it's what, 150,000?
200, I think is what they asked. Total project funding, 200, grant, 150,000, yeah.
Yeah.
Do these grants go on the county tax record as to increase the assessed value of the property? I mean, you know, if I put 400,000 into my house, that would adjust the tax rate on it.
I
correct?
think, yeah, if you do any work on your property that makes it look better and it'll go to your tax assessing.
Heather, do you know anything about the construction on the building that you guys are currently in? What it would the same businesses go back into that storefront?
Honestly, this is the first we've heard of it.
Okay.
This is the first I've heard of it.
Because I know that there was some maintenance that needed to happen before you guys moved in, and after you moved
Oh,
in, that
and-
needed to be fixed.
Yeah, they had to do quite a bit of sewer repair. Well, while we were in the space and after the new ownership took place.
Yeah, I remember that. That's why, yeah. I personally would like to see more businesses, not space that people are just living in, that would draw more foot traffic to the downtown area.
Yes,
I would like to
agree.
see more of that space. And to me, the grant proposal for the 356, if we're kicking out a business that does draw in traffic, that doesn't seem productive. That's just my take on it though, because Wednesdays does bring in foot traffic.
Well, and with having residents, you have people that don't want to park there all the time, whereas when you have businesses, you have cars coming in and out, so parking's more accessible
Yes.
downtown.
I was also going to ask about parking for almost all of these. I just am wondering if there is any plan to have more parking for the downtown area. Not that that can determine anything regarding these grants, but I'm curious
Parking
about
is a
that.
constant work in progress for the city council.
Good.
It's always on our annual goal setting. Downtown parking is, it's always an issue for us. So we're always constantly working on it. City staff is constantly working on parking, so.
If I had to choose, I would probably divide between renovating the upstairs of the Estacada-
381.
The 381 and the 342.
So
Only
do the 150 for 342 and then
Mhm.
250 for 381.
Only because I feel like that we could draw in more foot traffic and more things that people would want to, just cleaning up 342, huge difference.
Huge difference.
And then an upper space, whether it be an event space, which people have asked for years.
Right.
Or turning it into two other spaces that could be used potentially for something fun that maybe the youth would want to do, an arcade. I mean, who knows? I don't know. That's my take on it.
I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with that. I just really would like to see 342 get some of the money. So I'm good with that recommendation of 342 and 381.
So let's take a vote. So 152, 342, and then 250 to 381. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed.
Sorry, I am in favor.
Okay. Julie, Cooper, and Heather.
Who's 381? Could you just clarify?
Paris.
That's Paris, fitness place.
Is that gonna be
Did you
in,
just,
how much did she ask for?
She asked
originally?
for 400.
Is that gonna be enough funds for her to even,
Well, that's not, that's, we're just here to decide on the 4 grants that we have.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
she can go ahead and she can say, 250 is not going to be enough and she can back out. I'm
Okay,
assuming. I mean, we're not going to be the ultimate. We're just trying to give our recommendation.
see what to
out of the
nominate?
4 Out of the 4 grants, proposals that we've received.
I'm a little bit torn. So does Sabro Latino, is he completely out because his score was the lowest?
Can you speak up just a little bit, please?
Is he completely out because of his score was the lowest?
Not enough information, I think, Heather, is why his score wasn't high enough. There's no pictures, there's not enough
Right.
information for us to go on.
I know, but that's my question is because he scored the lowest, does that mean that he's ineligible to be part of even a partial grant?
Well, my concern there is, and I know he's off of the main drag and all that, but it's not going to be real visible. A lot of people still don't know that he's there. I just would like to see us put the money into the downtown core, which is Broadway, Main, that area. Just my comment.
Yeah, I would
yeah,
agree
but
with
I
that.
feel that the outside of our corridor gets ignored and I think.
Left out.
Yeah, and if it were me, I would do the Helms business property and the Mexican restaurant. That's what I would choose for them to get the
Okay,
grant.
so we have one, John, what is your, because we basically have 1, 2, 3, 4 for 381 and 342. Then we have 1 for 342 and Cornelio's place. And then John,
Cornelio's, yeah.
what's your,
If Cornelio is still up in the running, I would change my proposal to include him because I really think that's a deprived area of town. And I realize it isn't in the core, but we've given, the core has had a lot of money put into it. And the peripheral area hasn't,
But is he the only business on that street? So what else is there to go to there but him? So it's not
I mean,
like
Hitchin
it's-
Post is right behind him. I mean, there's the food carts are right across the street from him as well. And
And then
also
there's that
Old Mill.
vintage market.
No, down further.
Can I?
yes,
It's-
absolutely.
I want to say something. So, and I know Hannah worked on with me with this grant 2 years in a row. This requires significant cooperation and a lot of information. And I would express concern that someone can't even create a whole packet that they're going to be able to apply for this grant effectively. Because it is like 50 pages worth of application that we're going to have to submit.
Thank you for that.
It's a lot of work on staff's time. And so I want to make sure that if we're going to apply for a grant for $400,000, that we're going to be able to be as successful as possible.
That's helpful.
Thank you.
Okay.
So there's a difficulty in us. I mean, we graded 3 of them at 55 out of 60. And now we're trying to whittle that down, and it seems like they've all got pros and cons to, what they're adding. Is it that much harder just to say, here's our 3 and give these to the state if all we're doing is giving a recommendation?
The city has to apply for a grant.
Okay,
So
if
the
it's-
city is the one applying for the grant. And so we have to have the parameters in which we want to apply for the grant. You can pick all 3 of them and then divide the money equally between the 3 projects. That doesn't matter, but you do have to pick which projects you want because it's not 3 different applications. It's 1 application.
1 bucket of money, so.
1 bucket of
we pick
money.
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we run out of money real quick.
I guess
It's
I'm,
empty.
I guess I don't want to split the money 3 ways. That's, I like to see the bookkeeping place get the full 150. I really like Paris's idea. put money into that, whether it's for an event space, which we desperately need in town, or businesses. That's just my thought.
I think going off of what Elena just said, that we did this 2 years in a row, I think I'm allowed to add my input on what it was like and what they wanted, and they're heavily into historical preservation. So my input for the restaurant would be great. However, not sure what historical significance that restaurant has, if it does have any. Like I said, that would be great to get it, but I don't know if this grant is tricky. It's hard. They want you to use like the same windows that were used and the same, it's just goofy. So I think we need to keep that in mind when we're choosing it. What these people are going to put in, if they want to make it all nice and brand new, and that's not really what this grant's looking for. They want it new and nice, but if you're gonna like redo a whole front of what it doesn't look like in 1935 or 40 or 45, they're not gonna want you to do it. They want you to use the same framed windows and paint and siding and all this stuff. So I just think we need to keep that in mind, just because I have done this grant. So
Yeah.
that's my endpoint. I don't want to sway either one more. That's
I'm now curious if then adding the helm in there and not just doing it to Paris would then make them lean towards not giving the grant to the city.
Say that again. What was your concern?
So Paris is like the only one who is doing the restoration.
Yeah.
Of historical. So then I'm curious, as much as I would love to see Helms, I'm curious if it would make them lean towards not giving the grant, since that one is going to be more of a new and not historical preservation.
Right.
So based off of that perspective that you just gave.
Yeah.
Helms-
And based off of that information, I mean, the Stallcup property is going to be a complete tear down and rebuild. So does that
Right.
disqualify that one? Or if they're building it with, historically minded, I guess. I mean, if they're rebuilding it historically minded, does it then? I don't know.
I
I
do
don't-
want to
I think-
mention Helm's proposal does talk about the
Yeah.
historical preservation.
Yep.
It
I don't
does.
think that's a total tear down, is it? It's just on the
Just
front and
as
the back.
renovation.
It's the other one, it's the 356 that's a total tear down.
Yeah, that's the Stallcup.
Stall, yeah, not the helm.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a
Yeah.
complete tear down and
Yeah.
rebuild.
Yeah,
So
on the
I thought
Helm,
you said it.
on the Helm property, it says the building was last renovated in 1970s and has numerous deferred maintenance, dry rot, and code-related issues. And after the property information and existing conditions, it says right off of the bat that it was constructed in 1905. It was the Estacada Telephone and
Mhm.
Telegraph Company. And then it was the post office from 1908 to through the 1950s.
The way I see it is either 356 or 381 is going to use this full grant, and if we combine it and then they get a partial, I don't know if they're going to be able to do either one of these with a partial of it. Would
But
be
they
just
can-
one concern of it is, because tearing down something and rebuilding it, or just redoing that whole 5,000 square feet upstairs is there's a good chance she's gonna have to structurally support that.
Well,
based
we
on
need to
what
come to
number.
consensus, and I hate to beat this, but it is 10 o'clock and we do have a lot more. So we do need to come to some type of consensus and some decision. So let's take a vote.
So the original one was 342 and 381.
Yeah, so the original proposal was 150 to 342 South Broadway, which is the Helm property. And then the remaining 250 to 381, which is Paris's property. So all in favor for that?
I would do a roll call vote for this
Okay.
one.
Okay. Let me start with the people.
So we're doing 342 and 381 as a package.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is not, I just throwing it out there that we don't know what other funding that they have that they can provide. But beyond this, so whether it's another fiscal year applying for a different grant to help with something, we don't know any of that. This is just purely on what you could do for this amount of money. I don't know that they even know for sure until they get into the thick of it.
Okay.
Okay. So roll call vote for 381 and 342. Hannah Smith.
All in, aye.
Okay.
Yep.
Heather Randall,
I,
Julie Cooper,
Yes.
Julie Colton,
Yes.
John Eisenberger,
Yes.
Connie Redmond,
Yes.
Sherry Fox Hames.
Yes.
Okay. That's unanimous.
Great.
Did you ask?
Awesome.
Did you ask Corbin? Oh, that's right. Yep, sorry.
Evelyn, do you want?
Thank
these
you, everybody.
papers Somewhere.
Okay.
Yes, just hold on to them until the
Okay.
end.
Okay.
All right. Do we want to go back
Fine.
to a Christmas tree lighting recap, or do you want to move forward? Or you want it till the end?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. All right, so Oregon Main Street Quarterly Report, October and December. I'll just get that to you, Evelyn.
Yes, I need all of your volunteer hours from October to December. And I need that by,
Do you have another one in
I
here?
think. Let me check my calendar because I forget.
I had it, 'cause I had writing on it. What's that? Oh, that's it right there. No?
Is that through December, Evelyn?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
All the
It's
way through?
October through December.
Okay.
Yeah, through the end.
Sorry.
Probably the 15th or something
I
like that.
believe. Yes.
Okay, so everybody needs to get your volunteer hours from the month of October, November, and December to Evelyn via email by the 15th of January. Awesome, okay. Oregon Main Street self-assessment check-in due in February. Is
Yeah.
that the?
I think I mentioned this at one of your previous meetings, but it's just another reminder. I included the information about the self-assessment again in your packet. Just make sure you review it because we will be grading in February.
Great. Awesome. Okay, and then we have our strategic planning survey responses needed by January 13th.
Yes, I posted this on Facebook and Instagram. Sherry Stewart sent me a link to a survey for your next meeting on the 15th. Just to get responses from the community for your strategic planning and kind of what to focus on regarding like the Main Street approach.
Okay.
So if you all want to submit answers, that would be great. Or if you could just share it around, yeah, responses are due by the 13th. So next Monday.
Okay. Project planning?
Yes, so this is just another reminder. Your project planning meeting will be next week, the 15th. You'll be doing that with Sherry Stewart, kind of as a combined thing. You will need to create an annual plan and budget, and that will be due to staff in March, and then it's presented to council in April. So just kind of start thinking of things you want to discuss about project planning, you know, regarding your events and other things kind of like the Main Street approach, but you'll be discussing it on the 15th.
Awesome.
What time is it on the 15th again?
It's 9 a.m. And if you can't attend on the 15th, if you have anything you want to be included, send that to me and I'll make sure it gets included so you all can discuss at the meeting.
Okay, Oktoberfest 2025.
Okay, just real quick, I sent a message to you all about John and I meeting with Bill at Boring Brewing. And he has offered to take on the part of Oktoberfest dealing with OLCC and alcohol vendors. You know, Lynn did that for the food and it took a load off of us. I made it clear that we want to make sure we have local, like Stone Circle cider and, you know, local breweries and stuff offered too. So I just want to have a yes or a no from you guys on whether to go forward with him on that. Since he already has a permit with OLCC, he said it'd be really simple, about $10, he said, to expand that. He did have some thoughts about how to arrange the alcohol vendors. You know, this is a guy who's done this many, many, many times. So I don't know if John agrees, but I'd like to see us say, Bill, thank you. We don't want to take advantage of that.
Yeah,
Comments?
I agree. I mean, if we have people that are willing to step up, like
Yeah.
Lynn, I think let's
Okay.
let's
Yeah,
roll with it.
Okay,
we've
Heather, you
worked with
okay
him
with that?
before. He's great. He works at Beer Fest and stuff all the time. He's put him, I mean,
Good.
he's, yeah.
Okay, Heather, Hannah, Julie, are you guys okay with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Any public comments?
I just want to publicly say, good job, Julie, on the tree lighting.
Oh, Thank you.
It's just the first year, but it's gonna be good.
Fingers crossed.
You made it. Good job.
John was a big help too. So, yeah.
That's great.
Well, what we
Regarding the
do-
tree lighting, since you brought it up, Melanie does want to know if the tree will be taken down soon.
I was gonna ask the same thing on how the reverse process works.
Okay.
And I do have an email out to see before the tree gets removed, if we can put a sleeve in, if that's where we're going to continue to have. I have an email out to
Yes.
Harvest Market.
Okay. She says they have a bucket truck to take down the lights, but she doesn't have any way to take down the tree. So
Okay.
Just
I
reverse
don't know
what
if you can
those guys do.
coordinate with whoever installed it.
I can definitely try. I don't know, but yes, that was my question as well, is,
Okay.
okay, now it's over, now what? And then I have another question, since it was brought up, is one of the cords was stolen already, but there's another cord that was down there plugging in the tree, and I don't know if anybody has any took it because the tree lighting was over, or
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think anyone from the city has touched that stuff, but I could check with Melanie to see if maybe they did.
Okay.
Happens.
Did we pick a winner?
I have the applications at my house. I picked them up from Evelyn. I just have not chose. I figured I'd choose 3 of them, and I have like 3 $25 Amazon gift cards, and then I was going to attach something for any local businesses that wanted to put anything in. So like time travelers put in like 2 free drinks or something. I don't know if Wednesdays want to put in something, and I don't know about another business, but that's what I was thinking. I'd incorporate a local plus something else that's fun that maybe people would want to do it again next year.
Okay, and that was for the business bingo.
That's for the punch card thingy that we did, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, there's quite a few that I saw
Mm-hmm.
when I looked in the box. Are we gonna go over the tree lighting? Does anybody have any input or feedback? Or
Are you ready to go over that? Or
I am ready
Okay.
to go over whatever, I can send an email out to with all of just the information that I have that needs to be put in a book.
Okay, and I forwarded you and Connie an email. Okay, so
Yeah,
Is that in here?
I don't know that the email is in there.
The budget for it is, but I didn't see an email that needed to be included.
So I don't know, Sherry, if you want to share the email.
Oh, yeah.
Or
So there was an email that DEC got, and it was from Casey Owens. Hello, my wife and I enjoyed the Christmas event this year, and we wanted to thank each of you for putting it together for our town. You've asked for feedback, and I would like to add mine. Some things I think would make the event even better next year would be: 1, extend the street closing to the south up to the high school pharmacy parking lot and add more vendors of all kinds, especially food carts. There weren't many options. 2, add more lighting to the corner where the tree was lit and most of the
Yeah.
crowd congregated. It was quite dark and hard to see
Yeah.
objects in the grassy area. 3, add a stage or risers for the performers to sing from. It was difficult to see them unless you were up front. 4, ask City Hall to provide tables and chairs and set them up in the street at the south end so people could use them to sit and eat and visit. It would also be nice for the older folks so that they would have a place to rest and still be part of the festivities. Again, these are just my suggestions, and we're looking forward to next year's event.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd love to get the feedback.
So the question I had, didn't we rent the stage from?
No,
The school? No.
no.
Okay,
We have a platform that the switch is on that Santa gets on, but the platform needs to be totally redone because it's not in good shape. And then the choir volunteered to bring their own tents for their sound system from the high school for their band and everything. I don't disagree that if we're gonna make this a big thing every year, that we should probably get the stage and put it on the side or somewhere, but first year,
The big
learn.
stage?
absolutely. What, Hannah?
The big stage, like for Oktoberfest?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need to think about that. 'Cause that's a
That's a-
huge undertaking to set up, take down. And for what we might, let's look at options for getting a more portable stage. We have the
Mhm.
sound. The sound.
Well, the sound
maybe-
actually we need to work on too, because they couldn't hear us down the main street. They couldn't hear, I was told, yeah, so I don't know, I can talk to Mike about it since he has sound systems and things, but I'm almost feeling like we need to include little Bluetooths just along, even if it's just ones that we pass out like the night of, that just carries the music down, because you can't hear anything that that anybody is saying or anything once you get past like the treat area.
I
So do we
couldn't,
wanna-
I couldn't hear anything watching the tree lighting.
Yeah.
That was my one feedback, was the sound. We didn't hear.
So we need some
Couldn't
type
hear
of
the mayor talk.
weatherproofing or
Yeah.
speaker system
Yeah.
Yes.
that
And
is,
I know Mike has it all, and maybe it was underestimated on what we needed.
oh, gotcha.
Uh, I don't know how many were needed, but I think he has what we need, but maybe it was underestimated.
Well,
But
and
there-
something to think about too, if we invest in it, Hannah, or if we end up using part of a budget for something like that, is it could be used for Oktoberfest
Right.
and the Uncorked or any future events that we want to use in the core downtown area, that we want to include announcements and things that may be coming from that square.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I brought up last year about the stage and the risers.
So
I
one-
think that we need to invest, and that's probably something that we need to look for our annual budget. And, either go in with the city on that or something, because we can reuse that and then we don't have the tear down and pay for. I mean, I know we're gonna pay out the nose in the beginning, but over time, we can use that for any and all events.
So a suggestion for stage is, we have, in our community, there's a lot of flatbed trailers. And that's something, since we're shutting down the street, it's not going to take up a bunch of room. It's not going to take a bunch of
That's a good
set up and
idea.
tear down.
Good idea.
We can, just park a flatbed trailer out there.
That's a great
Put some
idea.
curtains across to cut, to make it look nice.
Yeah.
And, have some, maybe ask somebody local to build us a staircase. A safe
Yeah.
staircase to go up, to get up and down, but
Yeah.
that would be something that would be very simple. There's no real setup and tear down, just,
And
parking a
could-
trailer,
Yep.
pushing up a
Good
set
idea.
of stairs and then putting some sort of covering to make it look nice across the front. But that's a suggestion that,
And if we
y'all-
get a-
So do you
Yeah.
have people that we should contact for flatbeds?
I do not, but I know that there's a lot of them in the,
Well, and it would be nice if we found 1 or 2 people and had them under contract so that we know we can count on them for 2 or 3 events a year rather than,
and
go
that's
out and
something,
seek somebody.
that's something we can just put out
Yeah.
in our newsletter. Hey,
yeah.
this is what, this is what we're looking for. you know, if you're, you know, if your flatbed trailer's down during these times, you know,
Yeah.
and you would like to. you
Good
know,
idea, good idea.
Yeah.
Sponsor them.
Yeah.
So Hannah, going back to, media content
Yeah,
posting,
Yep.
could you post something about, flatbread trailers and what we want to do there and have people let us know if they're interested?
yeah. For a
I
couple
have-
of a year.
I have a pretty big flatbed trailer.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, we'll
Another
get you under contract.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another
And if
thing
desperate
that
times
came
comes to
up,
desperate measures, I can even put it in there.
Nice. I want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
another thing that came up during the tree lighting was doing the route with both the fire truck and the Santa sleigh or whatever going around. We had to unblock the road and block it, which means we really didn't secure. I mean, it was hard with the regular intervals going around, moving the cone. The guy off the trailer would move it and come back and it was open, people. And with went on in New Orleans with their get together and people driving through, I think we really should look at a more permanent or an actual road, something more than a cone. Whether we get ribbon or someone does some bullards that we can remove in the middle of the street and that make that an actual, you know, carnival area that's safe.
Yes, there actually was a young man that is the son of one of the bookmobile people. And he works for designing the closure things. And he said he would gladly volunteer to help do.
For 4th of July, can you put me in touch with him?
I don't have his information, but I can ask the bookmobile lady, but he said,
Roxanne?
yeah, for all these events that are coming up, he goes, because this is just dangerous.
Okay, you talking about Roxanne?
I
Our,
don't,
our bookmobile?
yeah,
Roxanne,
if you
okay.
ask the son
Roxanne.
of one of the people that was there.
Okay,
I don't
she doesn't
remember
have
his
any
name.
kid-
He's
okay.
super nice, though. He sat and talked to me for a long time while I was moving cones and coming out there because people were driving through that weren't supposed to drive through.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trucks, see, when I put cones on both of the roads, the trucks would just come up and go around or right over them. They
Yeah.
just don't even.
Yeah, I
pay attention.
think we need to relook again at investing in bright orange or bright yellow vests and little flagger, airplane flagger things. And I think that we need to just have more volunteers for these types of
I
events.
think we need the actual blockades, honestly, the big sign blockades that block the whole road. And I don't know how to incorporate that. If we can do the horse-drawn carriage again next year, I haven't got that far yet because they have to have certain amount of room to get through.
Right.
I haven't even put that down on paper yet on what that looks like, but yes, definitely. John was hustling, opening and closing, and I was going out and telling people they couldn't drive through and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's scary.
Well, just kind of an FYI, I'll be getting the 4th of July group together, probably get with Sherry and her calendar, some Sunday in February and just start looking at some different ways to manage some of that stuff. So start early.
Mhm.
Anything else, Julie?
I don't think so. I will try to get a hold of the powers that be for the tree removal. I got no guarantees here, so.
Might be up till October.
Facebook free firework?
Can we have a Burning Man type
There you
thing with
go.
the tree?
I don't know. I'll see what I can do though. And I haven't got an email back. I figured probably today people are going back to work. So hopefully I will hear from Mr. O'Neill about the sleeve being put in. And I don't know who to contact about that either.
PG, well, Ben Wheeler will have contact. So.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Ben
Yeah.
and to Aaron and see what can be done. And then the city also to take the lights and put them away.
Designated for us.
Yeah, that's just for the tree lighting.
Awesome. Well, good job.
Thanks.
Jerry, commissioner comments?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that it's on the city council agenda for parking all the time. What is anything happening?
I mean, I know that,
I can maybe answer this. So on January 15th, there is a Title 16 Development Code audit going to the Planning Commission, and then it will be going to council, and parking is included in that. But I think it's specifically about parking standards and allowing, for some instances, changing how much is required. There've been a couple of business applications that have come in that have been denied because the parking standard is almost a little ridiculous in how much parking is required for certain
Mm.
businesses.
Okay.
And I think that is going to Planning Commission and Council. There might be more included in the parking standards that I don't know because I haven't fully kept it in my brain since I'm not the planner. But if you do have questions about that, you can shoot an email to Alan and he can let you know. Otherwise, the packet for the Planning Commission with all of the code amendments will be posted this week.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Anything
Jerry.
else?
Will those
So-
code amendments affect the grants that these businesses may get?
It would only affect businesses that apply for business licenses, I believe, or people building new buildings. I'm not 100% sure on the specifics, but it'll only apply to things that are submitted after they're put into effect. So anything submitted before then would not have to follow those standards. And it's a process to get that fully put into the code, so.
So, I know that city staff is always looking for properties for parking. You know, I know that we're always talking about it. We're always looking at it. One thing would be if we had county help with, making it safer to cross this damn highway. Because there's tons of parking right across the highway. There's tons of parking right across the highway, but it's not, there's no real safe place to cross except for, right here, and it's still not the, what was that, Broadway?
Yeah.
But it's still not the safest crossing. But yeah, I mean, we're constantly, we were working with one potential property purchaser to build a really nice parking lot in the downtown, but circumstances didn't come together, and that kind of fell through. I don't know if it's still in the process, it's still in talks, but the parking, like I said, parking is always it's always a topic. It's always a goal every year that we set, city council goal parking. So
Okay.
there's nothing like definitive in the works, but we're always looking, we're always talking about it. So
Thank you.
it's a tough one.
Yep.
Okay, are there any meeting agenda items for next month that people want to add? Heather, I'm assuming you want to have Uncorked on there? We'll go.
Are they gonna answer?
We'll go ahead and
Sorry, I couldn't get
add-
unmuted.
add
Yes,
Uncorked.
yeah.
Anybody, anything else?
Yeah, I would like to talk about what I mentioned from the Main Street Conference about getting the youth involved, getting together with the school, doing a survey of 6 through 12, to see what they would like to see in Estacada, getting some feedback from them. So I just want to follow up with that next month. I'll have some more information from, I think it's Beaverton that did that. I'll have some stuff to present to the board.
Awesome.
I think making maybe some committees for our events for 2025, maybe something along those lines, because these months go fast and I feel like we're always like, well, it's August. And I don't know. I just think taking advantages of these few slow couple months. So whether that's really honing down on who's working on it.
We're going to be putting our project plans together, so we should
Right.
have a pretty good idea.
exactly
gonna
that,
need.
and then budget, and if we want to start buying the, the flagger stuff, and I don't know, I just take advantage of
idea.
these limits.
And then I have one other reminder. John, Julie Cooper, Heather, and Corbin, your terms are expiring. I sent you the link to reapply if you're interested. So apply. If you are, Corbin, are you still in 12th grade or are you moving on to college now?
I'm only in 10th grade, so
10th grade, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna reapply. Yeah.
Awesome. I was just gonna say if you were, because I thought you were taking college courses.
Mhm.
No?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm an early college student, but I can do that from like
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
I was just gonna say if you are moving on to college, you could apply for an actual position on the committee instead of youth. But since you're still in that 7 to 12 range, you can reapply as youth.
Okay.
Okay, and you
Cool.
said that was John, Julie Cooper, Corbin, and who else?
Heather.
All right, so make sure you get your applications in.
Yep, can't lose any of them.
When's the deadline again?
The deadline to submit your application, I believe, is January 22nd. But
Okay.
it's on the link that I sent you
Great,
if that's
okay.
wrong.
Thank you.
You're between two people that said you can't leave.
All right, anything else? All right, we're going to adjourn our Downtown Estacada Commission today at 10:30. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, great work.
Yep. Thank you guys.